they sliding, they hiding and lying, man. Acting like it's smoke in the city. Niggas acting like they wanna scratch. If it's up, then it's up. What's up?
Omarion, Michael Jackson, genuine with the 9. Mean I'm sliding, I ain't never hiding from a bitch ass nigga with beat. Pull up and get beat to sleep and slid underneath the ride. You rode, you lied, you hoes. Said that you would stomp down G's on the live you told, but nobody could find you hoes. And I know that you be lying to hoes, huh? So you reckless, bitch, I'm reckless, it's up. It's up. You got weapons, I got weapons, it's up. It's up. You from Texas, I'm from Texas, it's up. It's up. It's up. Yeah, nigga, it's up. Pull up, hold up, hold up. Pull up that Rory, I skate off. Chopper take a nigga face off. Bitches never get a day off. I need my money, my cash, my skrill and my bread. I'm winning the bake off. Told her ride it with the brakes off. Hit that pussy like a baseball. Body to body to body to body. This study that lay here beside me gon' fly me to Nola with perkies and roll it and roll up, pull up, pull up. Show up, t-shirt and panties, now we about to go up, go up. Visit my planet, I told her I plan it, now open your garden, cause I'm about to plant it, your friend can get it collateral damage.
Hold up, bitch, hold up, wait.
Give me the yams and give me the cabbage.
Hold on, wait.
Look at that ass, you know I'ma grab it. My habit is perkies and bitches, but I like them zannies. You don't understand me, I don't understand myself. I don't want attention, I just want some help. The money I'm stacking don't listen as well. So you reckless, bitch, I'm reckless, it's up.
It's up.
You got weapons, I got weapons, it's up.
It's up.
You from Texas, I'm from Texas, it's up.
It's up.
It's up. Yeah, nigga, it's up.
Yeah.
So you reckless, bitch, I'm reckless, it's up.
It's up.
You got weapons, I got weapons, it's up.
It's up.
You from Texas, I'm from Texas, it's up.
It's up.
It's up. Yeah, nigga, it's up.
Yeah.
Gotta take care of my auntie. Gotta get a meal, not the entree. My bitch real bad, strange. Your bitch built bad, Hyundai. 4-5, get guys out of my way. Try to jump, get shot, that's how I play. Better run my fade the polite way. Better run my bread on the right day. She'll fool with the head, then I might stay. Billie Jean moonwalk like Mike J. Too cold on the bitch, so icy. Mouth frozen, I hold these diamonds. Came from the bottom and I'm steady climbing. I'm telling the story, I don't just be rhyming. Applying the hustle, I learn from my mother. Man, I really miss him, man, I really love her. Got so much to learn and so much to discover. And if it was up, it was up. If it's something that's stuck down, my mama was gangster. She didn't give a fuck from a van to a truck. I could see she was tough and I keep it with me like I keep the semi tucked. I need luck about as much as a duck need chucks. My luck sucks and I don't give a fuck. What? So you reckless, bitch, I'm reckless, it's up.
It's up.
You got weapons, I got weapons, it's up.
It's up.
You from Texas, I'm from Texas, it's up.
It's up.
It's up. Yeah, nigga, it's up.
Yeah.
So you reckless, bitch, I'm reckless, it's up.
It's up.
You got weapons, I got weapons, it's up.
It's up.
You from Texas, I'm from Texas, it's up.
It's up.
It's up. Yeah, nigga, it's up.
Yeah.
Welcome, everyone's mothers, fathers, daughters, and sons. I am your boy OG Unk through the Doty, original gigolo. If you love your bitch, you better hide the hoe. I don't choose to get told. I'm colder than Eskimo toes on these hoes. There's 17 people in here. Let me get 17 likes.
We're outside federal court here in downtown Dallas for an update on the case that involves the after about a 1-hour probable cause hearing in federal court in downtown Dallas. He has been ordered held. The judge deciding that, yes, there is probable cause that he was involved in the crimes that have been alleged by the FBI. His defense attorneys argued the FBI does not have the guns they mentioned. They do not have the jewelry that they mentioned that was allegedly stolen. They do not have the contract that they say that he was forcing the other rapper known as Gucci Mane to sign to get Pooh Shiesty, the other rapper, out of his contract. But the judge said the evidence is heavy that he was involved in this, that he does have a lengthy criminal history, including gun violations before. So at this point, Lontrell Williams Jr. is being ordered held in federal custody pending his next court date. We'll have other updates throughout the day.
Now, Lontrell Williams, aka Pooh Shiesty, was denied bond today. What does that mean? Now, everybody think that he gonna get off. He got a shot at making it. It's looking good for him because the feds say they don't have nothing. They don't have no evidence. They don't have the jury. They don't have no video. They don't have nothing. All they have is witness testimony. So it's people that feel like Pooh Shiesty might stand a chance. But what they don't understand is, this is Texas. Texas don't need all that. They will convict your ass off of witness testimony alone. And a lot of people don't understand that. So even if the feds don't do nothing with it, the state of Texas is going to do something with it. I promise you, again, a real life example. I don't have the video ready. When the dude tried to steal my car, I made the initial statement on the scene. I didn't make no further statements after that. And they still convicted his ass. And he was on probation at the time.
Yes, that's all. Yeah, the only interviews
You tell me when you guys are ready. Ready?
Would you say your name for us real quick?
Yeah, Bradford Cohen, C-O-H-E-N, Psalm Zengane.
For those that don't know, this is Pooh Shiesty's lawyer. This is the man that's representing him in this federal case. This is Bradford Cohen. Now, don't get it twisted. Brad is a shark. He done represented Lil Wayne, Kodak Black, DMX. He done represented some of everybody. He is absolutely a celebrity lawyer, and he is a shark in the water. For real, for real. But I don't think that Bradford Cohen gonna be able to get Pooh Shiesty off of this. I feel like at this point, he just collecting money. He already knew that Pooh Shiesty wasn't going to get a bond. Here we go. Let's listen to what he said at the press conference.
And John Helms.
And any questions, just look straight in the middle.
Yeah, you got it.
Thank you.
So we had a bond hearing today and a PC hearing today. I think that the relevant things that were said today that I thought were fascinating were that it took 3 months to build a case. And I think the reason for that was because the statements that were given on the evening that this occurred were very questionable. I think the way that the statements were made, what allegedly was witnessed and what wasn't witnessed, I think gave great pause to the FBI. The FBI doesn't take 3 months to arrest someone if they believe everything that was said on the night that it occurred. They were involved the first night and then nothing happened for 3 months. In addition to that I thought was quite embarrassing was that an FBI agent says they don't have the resources to keep their eye on an individual. This is allegedly an individual that committed a if the guns were present, if the jewelry was present. And what didn't we hear today? What we didn't hear today is there is no contract, this mystery contract. They have no contract. They have no video of this alleged signing of a contract. They have no guns. They have no jewelry. They have none of that physical evidence. What they have is they have allegedly 5 individuals, one of them being a very well-known individual that is allegedly cooperating with the government and making these allegations against my client and many more. I'm going to take like 1 or 2 questions and then we're going to scoot.
You're essentially arguing they've got only a he said kind of case, no evidence.
Correct.
Is that fair?
Yeah, it's very fair. I think that this is it's a he said type of a case. I mean, obviously there's 5 individuals on one side. What we're missing are the other people that were present in the room, right? The owner of the studio who says he didn't hear anything or see anything. The way they leave the studio where no one is in concert with anybody else, no one's arguing with anyone else. One of the individuals says, "Hey, can I get my watches back?" Like, the story is quite unusual. And I think that the FBI knew that. I think the investigators knew that it was unusual. And I think that's why it took so long to make the arrest.
What is your response to the judge saying that, your client still violated the terms of his ankle monitor location?
Sure. Those are all things that are going to be, flushed out. The fact is that he was allowed to be in certain areas at certain times. That really wasn't an argument for today. I wasn't really even going to make that argument. My main thrust of today was to really push on the evidence and see exactly what they had and when they had. How about this? How about the individual who wrote the complaint, who actually drafted the complaint, who was sitting in the courtroom, who's only been an FBI agent for 4 years, does not take the stand. They put someone else on to say what she wrote in her own complaint when she's sitting in the courtroom. And that's done quite often in gamesmanship, because they don't want to put a rookie on the stand and be measured by our legal team.
How far away is this from trial?
Oh, who knows? You know, we're going to get discovery. We'll take a look at their discovery. They're going to say it's ongoing. I mean, think about it. They had 3 months to get this stuff. They had 3 months to get warrants. They didn't get warrants that night. They didn't get warrants the next night. They didn't get warrants the next month. They didn't get warrants the month after. They waited 3 months to get warrants on whether or not there's guns, whether or not there's jewelry. How about their cell phones? How about the computers? That gives me great pause when I see a case that takes that long to get warrants, if you believe everything that was said on the evening that it occurs.
Does the guy have a path out of jail?
Hold on, let me take one from her because she was trying last time.
Can you say anything about the identity of RD, and then you also spoke about a social media post he made?
Correct. So, listen, I don't like when the government puts initials in and everyone takes a guess who they are. We all know who they are, right? I'm not going to say it's this person or that person. That's not my job to do. But certainly there have been media posts of individuals that we suspect were involved in that evening where they're denying that it occurred, or they're denying that they're giving statements to the government. I think that's unusual as well, because of what the government put forward today seems to negate those statements, but we'll have to see how this all shakes out. Listen, guys, Sam and I have had many cases together, right? We just finished a case a couple of years ago in San Francisco on the Cash App murder case. And whenever I talk to individuals, whenever I talk to the media, it's always a very winding road. So we never know where things are going to take us. We got to look at the evidence as it comes in, and we'll see what's there. I'm just shocked that, you know, when they say there might be video out there, they don't have it. There might be this mystery contract, they don't have it. Oh, they were at Staples, you know, making copies. It's just a total guess. So, like, we're not here to guess. I'm here to look at the evidence, to weigh the evidence, and to make the best decision based on that evidence.
Your client just stays in detention until what?
Yeah, currently he'll stay in detention. We'll get discovery. We'll start going through that. There's going to be several motions that we're going to file, obviously, in the next couple of weeks. But that'll all come out, and we'll give copies to everybody.
So did the feds even interview?
Look at my man.
Did the feds even interview any of the people yet?
The FBI has, over the past 3 or 4 months, has interviewed none of the alleged victims, and allegedly they all have future dates to give statements, but I have no idea if that's true. We're basing it on what the agent said on the stand, that each one of those witnesses from that evening is going to appear and give a statement to the federal authorities.
So RD never made a statement as of now?
Not to the FBI, but that evening it appears from the material that they produced and from the agent's testimony is that RD gave a statement that evening. But since that evening has not given another statement. But the FBI said in the future they're all scheduled to give statements.
Hold on, did y'all hear that? Pooh Shiesty lawyer even admitted that Gucci man gave an initial statement that's ratting. I don't care what you say. Shout out to Seti Nash, but he trying to take up for Gucci. Wack 100 trying to take up for Gucci. It is what it is. He gave an initial statement. He ratted. If I ratted for telling on the nigga that tried to steal my car and held him at gunpoint, then he ratted. I didn't give no statement past the day of the event. The investigator DM'd me on Instagram trying to get me to make a statement. They was calling me, trying to get me to come down to the court so I could testify on the boy. I didn't do none of that. And I still was shunned like I was a rat for defending my own goddamn property. So if I'm a rat, then Gucci's a rat. Because you don't supposed to say nothing to the police by the street rule. No, hell no, I'm stuck on that. And I'm running that shit in the ground. Hell no, if I'm a rat, Gucci a rat.
So we'll have to see. All right. Thank you, guys.
Oh, damn, I was at the end. I didn't even realize it. So a few important things that were said to me on that is they said nobody was interviewed by the government. So the feds haven't got no statements. They haven't interviewed nobody. Gucci say that he's not going to give no further statements. But the fact is, Dallas police got statements. And what a lot of people don't understand about the state of Texas is even if the feds drop this case, The state of Texas will pick it up. This is a fact. You're not gonna come down here and commit violent crimes, pull guns on people and shit like that on house arrest and think ain't nothing gonna happen. The lawyer said that Pooh Shiesty had permission to be certain areas at certain times, but he didn't have permission to be at the studio. Witnesses stated that. They can also get that testimony from whoever called Pooh Shiesty that day to see his whereabouts. They told him allegedly to get your ass back home. You ain't supposed to be over there. And instead of leaving, he proceeded with the thieving. You looking at conspiracy. You brought all these guys down here from Memphis. What did all these guys need to come from Memphis for? You was already here. Pooh Shiesty was already here in Dallas. And you told Gucci to come down to Dallas for a meeting. So why did you need 8 other guys to come from Memphis for this meeting with a record label executive? Because that's what Gucci is at this point. So you gonna tell me that wasn't none of this shit premeditated? If it wasn't a big deal, the feds ain't got nothing in, why they holding Pooh Shiesty? Why they didn't grant him a bond? Because Texas don't play that shit. You're not going nowhere. They gave Pooh Shiesty daddy a bond. They gave Big 30 a bond in Memphis. Because they knew they had the money. They knew they wasn't going nowhere. They gave him the bond. The bond was made, and then Texas said, send him in. They already knew what was finna happen. Y'all watching this shit, and y'all really think that this boy gonna get away with this? The security guard to Gucci say he pushed in the door to see what was happening. He got a text from the cameraman. He pushed in the door to see what happened. He see these niggas got guns out. Why these dudes got guns? Okay, he didn't see Pooh Shiesty with a gun. He didn't see Big 30 with a gun. He didn't see nobody doing nothing to Gucci. But when he pushed in the door, he seen the people that was with Pooh Shiesty with guns out. What they got guns for? Drawing at that. What they guns out for? It's already been said that Pooh Shiesty is the leader. His mama confirmed that in the song. He's a leader. He's leading these guys. They following what he say. So why they got guns out if it wasn't no smoke in there? This eyewitness testimony is gonna bury him. You got the white boy, the cameraman that was robbed. You got marks and bruises on him. Where that come from? We got some paperwork right here. So they say, ooh, this shit little. Basically, the reasons they found to keep his ass in custody was, God damn, this shit little. Hold on. By clear and convincing evidence that no condition or combination of conditions of release will reasonably assure the safety of any other person in the community. Pooh Shiesty is a danger to the community. He's already been to jail for once for guns and shooting people. Now he's being alleged to have guns, pull on people, robbery. Because that what the first case was about. Now he's alleged to have done it again. No, he ain't going nowhere. Keep his ass locked up. How we know he ain't gonna do something else when he get mad? He clearly don't know how to control himself. No, leave his ass in here. Say by a preponderance of evidence that no condition or combination of conditions of release will reasonably assure the defendant's appearance as required. So not only is the nigga dangerous, we don't think he gonna show back up if we let him go. He already moving around on house arrest, being places he ain't supposed to be, doing shit that he ain't supposed to do. We let this nigga go, he might run. He already said F the feds, FDO, first day out, man, fuck the feds. He don't care. I wonder if they got the video of him in the car with Ben the Don lying about being at home. So they say they got evidence and all that. So look, they say, in addition to any findings made on the record at the hearing, the reasons for detention include the following. The weight of the evidence against the defendant is strong. witness testimony. They don't have no video footage of the alleged incident, but they do have video footage of somebody leaving the studio and then coming back with a bag that they didn't have before. They do also have video footage of somebody leaving with a Louis Vuitton bag that belonged to the white boy. And let's not forget that the white boy had air tags in his property. Let's not forget that. He's subject to a lengthy period of incarceration if he's convicted. I ain't gonna lie, I hope they lock his ass up. I ain't gonna lie. He got his prior criminal history. These are the reasons why they say we need to keep him. Participation in criminal activity while on probation, parole, or supervision. History of violence or use of weapons. And history of alcohol and substance abuse. These are the reasons they say we need to keep Pooh Shiesty in custody. Other reasons are, based on the credible evidence presented at the hearing, the courts find probable cause to believe the defendant committed the law violations alleged in the criminal complaint document 1. Thus, as alleged in the government's motion, the case is eligible for detention because it involves the use of firearms and alleges a crime of violence for which the maximum term of imprisonment is life. Tell me, how did I get life? Again, the alleged offenses, kidnapping and conspiracy to commit kidnapping, involve the use of firearms and violent force by defendant and his co-conspirators and co-actors against the purported victim. Defendant's criminal history includes conviction of a federal offense similarly involving the use of a firearm and violent criminal behavior, for which he was sentenced to and recently served a term of imprisonment. Indeed, he was still serving that term at the time of the instant offenses. At the time of the instant offenses, defendant, who was released from the Bureau of Prisons facility to home detention with location monitoring, location restrictions, and other conditions of release, in lieu of a halfway house placement to complete his imprisonment term, which was to be followed by the term of supervised release imposed in his previous federal case. Per the oral report of the pretrial services officer, defendant also did not have permission to be in Dallas. He wasn't even supposed to be in Dallas. Now, I wonder if they saying that because he lived in Frisco. And I don't think Frisco is Dallas County. No, I think Frisco is something else. So he wasn't even supposed to be in Dallas. You were supposed to be at home. They said it right here. There it is right there. You wasn't even supposed to be there. He didn't have permission to be in Dallas or the Northern District of Texas at the time of the instant offenses. At bottom, defendant violated the most restrictive of those conditions imposed by the Bureau of Prisons as conditions of home detention, as well as those imposed by the sentencing court as conditions of supervised release in the judgment of conviction in his previous federal case. In light of the fact that the conditions of pretrial release, God damn it, what was that? Pretrial release at this court's disposal are the same or similar to those defendant has already violated. So the conditions of his pretrial release at the court's disposal are the same as the shit he already violated. The court finds that there is no condition or combination of conditions the court can impose in this case which will reasonably assure defendant's appearance as required, or the safety of the community or another person if released. According to the government's motion, didn't go into the other one, but they say he was set to be detained. His ass ain't going no goddamn well. Smash that like button for me. I think all you gotta do is double tap the screen, smash the like button. So another thing I find interesting that he said is that there's no contract, because of course contract. If the contract itself is presented that Pooh Shiesty supposedly made Gucci Man sign, that's evidence that this took place, right? So that contract ain't no good, which means to tell me that Pooh Shiesty did all this and went through all this trouble for nothing. Because first of all, the shit wasn't going to be valid anyway because you made Gucci sign it under duress. But he was banking on the fact that Gucci is a street nigga, so he was going to keep it in the street, and he didn't have to worry about him telling the police. Plus, it would look embarrassing on Gucci and his reputation if it was put out there that he was robbed. So, Pooh was probably banking on the fact that Gucci not going to say nothing. But guess what? Gucci said something. His partner said something. The white boy said something. The off-duty police officer said something. Oh, yeah, they said something. Something was said. He said, oh, it don't take the feds this long to da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Do you see all the evidence they went and got? The car records, the phone records, like the rental car records, the phone records, the bus records. These boys was setting their case up. That's what was happening. I personally believe that Pooh Shiesty is cooked, but I could be wrong. But I know I'm not wrong, because even if the feds drop it, like I told y'all before, the state of Texas gonna pick it up because the state of Texas don't play that shit. So with all that being said, Pooh Shiesty was denied bond. His ass gonna be in jail. Somebody, if you're watching this video, if you watch it later, tell me where I need to go to keep up with when these niggas are supposed to go to court. Because if I had known Pooh was going to court today, I would have sacrificed my sleep and went down there. Because I'm right here in Dallas. And I'm going to cover this trial up close and personal for my channel on some exclusive shit. Because these other streamers and whoever ain't finna come down here. There's one blogger here in the city that might go down there, but I don't even think he gonna go down there because he don't even come out like that because people looking for him. So yeah, if I could figure out where to look and see when these people, because the trial ain't even started yet, so they just had a detention hearing, which I don't even think was public, and that was today. But I'm gonna try my best to look and keep up with when the trial is, if there is a trial. Because you best believe I'm going down there and cover it. Yeah, you know I work overnight, so I be asleep when they do this shit. But god damn it, if I got to stay up all night to go get the content, I'm going. So with that being said, that's the latest update in the Pooh Shiesty case. His ass ain't going nowhere. Gucci man did rat. Pooh Shiesty lawyer admitted to that. I think it was some other points I wanted to make about that press conference, but I can't remember. And we already done almost been on 30 minutes. So goddamn it, smash that like button for You know I got to get back to doing what I'm doing because I'm getting that money, struggling, hustling, thugging it forever up in here getting that paper. And I'll talk to y'all later. Don't be no hater.